Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Wednesday, June 26th, 2024. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart and the altcoin market, along with taking a look over there at the United States stock market, which is set to open up in the next 2 minutes, along with precious metals like gold and silver and the DXY, which is breaking through 106 this morning. We'll take a peek over there at any type of crypto news going on to kick off our day, as we are now halfway through the work week, and any type of financial news that is going on out there in the world as we get ready to start our day. Of course, it is Wednesday, and we try to have a little bit of fun here on the channel on Wednesday. So happy Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my
All right. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Markets in the Morning. We do this about once a week now, as we are in the middle of the summer. Hope you guys are doing okay. Hope kids aren't driving you bonkers just yet. Otherwise, let's go ahead and dive into the chat. Of course, it has been action-packed here for the last week over here in the crypto market. Super intense time over there in the stock market right now. So we'll peek over there at that here in a second as it's about to open. Should be opening down with what's going on there with that DXY. A lot of things that we've talked about for a long time there with the Dow Jones at a pretty pivotal moment there. And we'll just kind of peek at all that stuff. Of course, Bitcoin action-packed week back down to the range of lows. I'm going to be working on a video. Got a couple of video ideas, and one thing is we're going to talk about again, talking about how different this market is right now compared to anything we've seen in the past. And when it comes to modeling this as being back at the all-time high and the price action that we're all seeing throughout here, everybody's really kind of used to these things kind of getting moving really fast, but obviously big time struggling happening over here for Bitcoin. Looking over there at others, I'm not going to. I don't know. Do I go too deep into this? I think this has just been like the primary topic of the videos for the last week. Has been the big discussion over in here. Of course, we got that low sweep that we were looking for. Shift its way back up quickly. Now it's kind of one of these things, and it's shifting into what we're looking for. And what I'm looking for is to see things just kind of settle. So I'm going to be really patient right in here. Like I've talked about, a cash position will get sucked into the market. Should we get out through in here, but I'm really just kind of remaining patient. And I think that's a good place to be at right now when we have things like this, like the DXY breaking through 106 here this morning right now. Looking over there at the Dow Jones Industrial Average as it kicks off the day. Of course, these are the things that we've been watching for, and we talked about in yesterday's video that you don't want to see happen if you're a major crypto bull, is to see that thing we've talked about for a long time. Like, it literally puts you at that point right there. Of course, that's also bringing in that concern. DXY is breaking through the danger zone while it's literally right there. Yikes. So we'll see how that thing pans out. I do remember, like, in one video showing an example of, like, typically even in like a super mega bull situation like this thing actually still comes back down in here. Like, I think we saw something kind of like that with NVIDIA, where you went here and then went into expansion after that. So I'm not so certain that Dow is going to stop anytime soon with the move that it has going on in here. But that's big moment over here in the market. And of course, as we all know, and we keep talking about, we just haven't seen that expansion over there happening there in the rest of the market, whether it comes to retirement funds or the Russell. We just aren't seeming to get it here just yet. So big moment in markets, and definitely yikesies there with that 106.13 when it comes to the U.S. stock market. Again, like we keep saying, People pointing to the stock market and saying, look at it go, look at it go. It is a one-man show. It is the NVIDIA show happening there in the United States stock market, holding that thing together. Otherwise, there has not been broader participation throughout this market. It's very different. And it's not surprising to see that we just can't seem to get that energy to get out just yet, unless there is going to be broader participation happening throughout the rest of the market at the same time, because this is what 95% of the stock market looks like, is like this. And then you've got just let me see if I still have it up on my screen. I can go grab it. Let's see if it's updated for today, the heat map. Not yet. It hasn't updated yet, but it's really just, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Apple, Google, Amazon, otherwise everything else. So, all right, Bitcoin, 61,600. Holding down in here for others, which is great. This is just all the stuff that we have. My thoughts are, even if we just do something like this, you're just going to have to be patient in here for a minute for this thing to play out. I could pull up all the examples again, but I'm sure you guys, if you've watched all the videos over the last week, you've seen them all. That this thing would just settle and just kind of torture people here for just a minute. And then we try to look for a reversal. And so, my thoughts, of course, in the event that we do get a reversal to come out in here, it's going to be the same stuff once again. I try to make, my theses of the market based on data and historical behavior of markets. And in order to get expansion, what is the elements that have been there just every time? It's always been this thing. It's always been the whole broader markets opening up and continuing to go. So in the event that we get our shift way back up in here, that'll be something we're watching for here on the channel. If we get back up in here and then somehow the Russell just starts firing through back to the all-time high, I have zero problem taking all of that wall of worry down. Zero problem saying, F the retraces, we're going through. But, we have to get that just because it's what always happens. And a lot of people don't like this because their entire theses revolve around block reward halvings, 4-year cycles. But our data is very, very confluent throughout all of expansions for Bitcoin in our market to get something like that. And that's just where we are after as we all know, this had a pinpoint precise nail of the 702. So we don't want to just see ranging, right? We want to see actual expansion come out in here. So it's going to be a process to come in here. This is your most complicated market you've had in Bitcoin. Like I have said, using the models of 2020 and 2013, they've already proven they're not the same. Right? Like, let's do this. Right. I think this caught a lot of people by surprise. We'll come back to the fear and greed index. Of why it didn't keep going, right? We know this is the peak of our market. I'm not even going to argue it at this point. I've argued it in 100 videos, and I argued that's why that was our bottom as well back in November and December in 2022, and that 12K wasn't coming, right? But right, this was a lot of the thesis of what people thought, and it hasn't been expressed openly. Why hasn't it done it, right? So we are in a different market that we're having to all navigate together, and in a different macro market right now. So, okay, there you go. Others holding. Thank goodness we got exactly what we looked for happening in there. Our big thing is I do think this thing is going to settle in here. It's going to be the same thing. And I know what brings engagement. I know what brings the things. If I wanted to get followers, if I wanted to get subscribers, it would just say, we're shooting off, we're going to all-time high. But it's going to be that same stuff. It's going to be, we get back to retracements, and are we going to have to be worried about this thing? Because this is not your standard behavior for an all-time high. This for Bitcoin as well. And one thing, let me see, can I get all of this back on here? You could do it. There it is, right? We know that's at a 4.236 extension, right? Now, the positive thing, of course, finally with that price action, you finally registered some fear in there. It's the first time we've gotten the market to actually get itself into some serious fear here. But I think, that fear and greed index is likely calculated based on some type of moving average and the distance that it gets away from that moving average. I saw people posting about it over there on Twitter last week, and it still said it was in greed. And I think it's only focusing, like, it calls itself, what's it call itself? The crypto fear and greed index, but I think it's only focusing on Bitcoin, and it's likely calculated based specifically off of a actual moving average. This market has been in fear for way longer than just one day. But there you go. You saw an extreme come out of the market there just a couple of days ago. Otherwise, this is really it. I don't think there's a whole lot to say in regards to things that are different from all the videos that we've put out in there. If this thing breaks out, that's great, but we'll be watching for retracement levels and third range boundaries, and that this isn't some big boundary. And the thing we'd be looking for confluence, of course, to see the market actually get into a breakout, is to see actual expansion come in the rest of the market. Guess what? We haven't had expansion happen in the market, and neither have we in crypto. So this is kind of our big element to see happen over here. But again, this is an interesting thing. We'll have to monitor this today. 106 over there for the DXY. And look at that. You even have gold breaking down in that moment of that 106 break happening there for the DXY. So otherwise, things like XRP, they still just kind of continue to hold these things happening in here with all this Wyckoff stuff. The example that we've shown here as well, that's what Monero's Wyckoff has looked like for it to get back to its sign of strength phase in here. Sign of strength and last point of support happening in here. Notice all the behavior that happens in here. That's still incredibly similar to what this is happening right in here. That puts you in something like that right there. So, of course, you don't want to see this thing break down. XRP, we'll take a look at you on your market cap chart. We've talked all about this thing on a bigger accumulation schematic. Let's go all the way back for a Elliott wave count. Contracting triangles are A, B, C, D, and E. And in contracting triangles, you have WXYs. And if that's too confusing for you, if you only know Elliott waves with ABCs, simply just think of these as ABCs. But in contracting Elliott wave theory, these are called WXYs, WXY, and then WXY, and then WXY. And then in our last one, we have yet another contracting triangle, which consists of another A, B, C, D, E. Geez, that was a sloppy mess. A, B, C, D, and E. Right. And so right now, what we can't have happen here for XRP is to go take out the current lows of the prices that it is already set. If it does that, it is structurally broken everything. However, in its current phase right now, it's still just right on cue in a range. And we've shown these things over here before. This is exactly the WXY that Bitcoin did back in 2018 through 2020. We have crash, retrace, right back down to the lows. And then now we're in that Wyckoff right now, right? So otherwise, it's still fine. You would have incredible structural damage happen in the event that you go take out those April 14th lows. Otherwise, it's still just boring. Everybody's sad, mad, depressed. It is what it is. All right, but there you go for Bitcoin. Good luck with that. Again, like I'm just not gonna touch it with a 10-foot pole. I've been doing dominance stuff though, so I've got kind of two videos lined up in the pipeline. Sometimes it can be a little difficult to come up with video ideas, but I do actually have two of them in there. And what's very fascinating is just to kind of touch on it just for a second, but like if you take so to understand how like dominances are calculated, like if you look at like Bitcoin.D, right? Pretty simple concept here, that Bitcoin dominance really at 54.73 represents what the market cap of Bitcoin is over total, right? So there you go, 55, right? So with it being at 55, one thing about it is that it does include all of the stable coins, right? And it's like, all right, what happens if you kind of start removing things from it? Like what if it's Bitcoin over the total minus USDT minus USDC minus DAI, right? So what does it actually look like when we look at it from the aspects of not including those stable coins, right? And that's where we start seeing, oh, hey, look, we've gotten back to some actual resistance, former supports, and that's where it's really been struggling at in here for the last year. It's just been stuck in here, right? And then you look at it like, well, you know, what if we don't actually include Ethereum in there as well, right? Where do you end up being? It's like, we're still at the exact same spot happening in here. And so like in relation to the whole crypto market, it's done, you know, without stables and without Ethereum, it's gone all the way back to its 702 retracement. And when you look at it on like Ethereum in regards to like total 2, got to subtract the stables. It's also at an extreme after losing its behavior. And it just smells of a dynamic of outperformance versus Bitcoin and versus Ethereum, which is interesting. Again, kind of tying back to that safety trade dominance stuff. So I don't know. I'll elaborate more on that when I get a video out on it. But I did notice that to be quite interesting too. Excluding the stables and excluding Ethereum, you're all the way. I'm not sure how much more anybody's wanting more than that at this point. Don't know how much more you're wanting at this point. So, okay. Put Bitcoin back on the screen. So, okay. State of crypto, we're just trying to find support currently right now. And that's really it. There's nothing more. I think the whole, like, we could sit here and kind of create all these scenarios and talk about all these things. We're waiting for stabilizing to happening in here, then waiting to see a reversal show up in here. And then when we get back up into the reversal, what is happening in broader markets? Are we seeing expansion happening in broader markets? And if we are, hip hip hooray. And if we're not, holy cow, watch out. This time's different. I think that's really it. And I know we want more than that, but that's probably the simplicity of it. So, okay. Looking over there, total 3, still continuing to hold those lows from April. Total 2 is even higher than that. Dow Jones Industrial Average, as it's kicked off the day, down 140 points. NASDAQ's down 14. S&P's down 11. Russell is down 10 points. All precious metals, except for platinum, taking a hit this morning as the DXY breaks above 106. I think that really covers everything. So that's the thing to watch for today. This is kind of a big moment happening in here, seeing if this is an extreme, right? And so that's one of those things too. Like we get up in here, and it's not so bad that we've gotten here, but it's like this big moment in time of saying, hey, is this a breakthrough? Or is this an extreme? Because what would happen if you're reaching the extreme? Well, then you reverse off the extreme, which would also mean that you're finding the bottom of assets, right? And that's kind of where we're at to see, is this thing going to follow through with itself? Is this a big breakout? Is that the end of the Dow Jones Industrial Average? Or is this now the actual extreme? So we'll keep our eyes on that this week. So I'll try to remember to pull this up in videos as we go into this week. But this is definitely the big moment to watch on if this is an actual real breakout happening on the DXY or an actual extreme. So, okay, we'll jump over there into any type of financial news going on out in the world. NASDAQ futures inch higher as NVIDIA continues rebound. Jim Cramer says investors should stick with NVIDIA post decline. So NVIDIA took a pretty big whack and went down like 12% or something like that. What do you know? Bitcoin crashes a couple of days later. Strategists see limited gains for the rest of the year after the big first half. Southwest Airlines cuts revenue forecast. Oil bounces back as investors hope U.S. inventory data will point to stronger summer fuel demand. Wednesday's analyst calls. Stifel gets bullish on Tesla, FedEx, and seeing a rallying of 40%. Citi boosts NVIDIA. Top corporate CFOs are losing some confidence in the economy. Yeah, all data should tell you to not have confidence in the economy. All right, moving over. Crypto news. Bitcoiners contribute to Julian Assange's freedom, pays $500,000 debt in Bitcoin. Bitcoin price sees oversold bounce to 62K, but will it hold? Crypto game rewards are not crucial. Farmville creator makes case for better beta releases in Web3 gamer. Farmville. Is that game everybody was playing on like MySpace in like 2008? Exclusive. Mike Flood is shaking up Congress over cryptocurrency. Cash or crypto? FTX creditors to vote on how they're paid back. President of Jump Crypto steps down. Bitcoin analysts forecast Bitcoin price drop to 50K before parabolic run begins. Bitcoin derivatives turn bearish as traders anticipate sub 60K Bitcoin price. Chief author behind President Biden's crypto EO rejoins the administration. Ethereum futures market suggests a rally to 3.7K is highly unlikely. Moving over to CoinDesk, renewed bullishness expected after Bitcoin and Ether $10 billion options expires on Friday. Cardano unfazed by failed DDoS attack targeting staked ADA. No downtime was observed as Cardano developer managed to attack the attacker and take back some funds. All right. So again, kind of going on that discussion of how there's just different dynamics happening in the market, along with Russell and along with the stock market and the breadth, and that this is such a narrow rally happening in there. There are differences happening, not just obviously like everybody has expected this thing to have been shooting off and raging into a bull run at this point from being right in here, right? But there are some interesting things that you can kind of take notice of in here, like in the state of crypto index, when it comes to just how we're behaving as an industry. And this is by A16Z Crypto, and you can check out this website. This is totally free. A16zcrypto.com/state of crypto. Here, I'll just give you the link in the chat too. And you can kind of go through this thing and just look at, are there positive things happening in here for the market? And there's some interesting stuff, and it's curious if some of it is actually kind of influenced by Solana meme coin stuff. And I'll show you things that are different and things that are positive that kind of makes you kind of wonder about this. I don't know. I'm just going to give you kind of a thought because I've gone through this thing and just thought about it for a while and been like, there's some weird stuff. So the state of crypto, right? Like you could see in here, this thing roaring up in here. And we can't zoom in on a time frame in here, but maybe I could do this. I can kind of do that. You can kind of get a view in here that as we're getting into 2020, you can see the state of crypto is getting up there at about 280, 246, right? And the peak of the bull run hit 126. Then we go into the bear market of 2018. We get all the way down to the 40s, 35. And then in 2020, even pre C19 crash, we had already taken out the previous all-time high for the state of crypto back in February, right? February before the C19 crash happens. And we're just roaring up. Here we are, and boom, this is where Bitcoin finally breaks through its all-time high. But we're already getting up there at 396. We're getting way above in the state of crypto. Right? So what is the state of crypto? It's a composite score based on all metrics, which is active developers, interested developers, contract deployers, verified smart contracts, developer library downloads, academic publications, job search interest, active addresses, transactions, transaction fees paid, mobile wallet users, DEX volume, NFT buyers, and stablecoin volume. So here we go, right? We're getting out, right? You got all the way up here to 4,117 here in April, after a high of 2,775 in November of 2021. we get our way out. We can go down here. Innovation indicators on the supply side, which is a composite score of active developers, interested developers, contract deployers, verified smart contracts, developer library downloads, academic publications, and job search. You have adoption indicators, which are going to be active addresses, transaction fees, total transactions, mobile wallet users, DEX volume, NFT buyers, and stablecoin volume, right? So you can kind of get an idea on, hey, sweet, right? These things are getting a pop out. That's good. That's like the things you want to see get going when you're getting like kicked off in a bull run, right? You got adoption stuff happening, you got innovation stuff happening. All of that is good. But this is interesting. Like you move over here to active developers, and you see developers are still in decline. Even here in May of 2024, we're all the way down here, just with this continuation continuing to go in here. You can go back in here to 2018, and you see they really just stay up here and stay steady, right? Now, it takes Bitcoin breaking out into a new all-time high, right? Because here we are in December of 2020, and we're still over here at 14.61. Not too different from October of 2018, before we even capitulated down in November and December of 2018, where Bitcoin fell to 3,000. 13.1, here you go, Bitcoin's breaking out into a new all-time high. You're only at 14.61. But, you know, Bitcoin's already hit its all-time high, and yet we're still trending down for active developers in crypto. Interested developers goes and sets a new low, right? Instead of interest returning, it's declining. Contract deployers. Now you look at this and you think, hey, let's go. How much of this is Solana? Meme coins, right? This is all the meme coin mania. So is this metric influencing this and this? Verified smart contracts, right? Chillin', meme coin mania. Developer library downloads. That looks all right, right? But here you go, academic publications. Look at this trend of academic publications, and then boom, heading down. It's weird. Job interest search, not skyrocketing. Not skyrocketing. Again, this thing doesn't really break out here until January of 2021, which is what? After Bitcoin officially breaks into the new all-time high, right? So you kind of see people coming into it when the excitement of crypto returns, but there's nothing huge going on over here. Active addresses, good, but how much is that is Solana? Hard to know. Transactions, good. How much of it is Solana meme coins? Transaction fees paid, no rise, right? Again, is that impacted by a improvement in the crypto landscape, right? Like just paying $60 Ethereum fees and $25, $30 Bitcoin fees is unacceptable, and people are shifting more towards using Base, second layers, Solana, possible, right? Mobile wallet users on the increase. That's a good thing. DEX volume, good, but not into new all-time highs, right? Look down here, right? 2020, right? Into all-time highs. We're not getting into all-time highs on DEX volume. NFT buyers, good. Stablecoin volume, pretty good, but not like a big breakout, right? Not like breakout. So one of those, you know, I see things that are okay, like when it comes to like, hey, we suddenly have contracts and contract deployers, but then you kind of question it and you say, well, how much of that in that short time period is the Solana stuff, right? Because we don't have interested developers, we have declining active developers, and even publications going down. It's interesting. Again, different, right? That's really the whole point. I don't know what to take from it. I posted the link in there. I posted the link in here again. You go through it. You figure out what you think about it. Just giving kind of my thoughts on it. That's what you want to see. But not everything is going like that. And then when you see that, you say to yourself, how much of that was the meme coin stuff? How much of that was memes? I don't know. Anyway, so I'd share. Okay. There you go. Market holding up. We're doing a little bit better now that the stock market is actually open. Is the stock market improving? No. Down 159 points for the Dow. Russell is down as well. DXY 106.01. There you go. Come on, baby. Come on back. Come on back. Make that be our extreme, right? Because if that's the extreme, that would mark a bottom, right? Okay, so there you go. That's what you got with Bitcoin. Huge range. Nothing has happened in here. I'm going to try to remain humble on it and just kind of, I don't have a clear picture for Bitcoin. I'm not going to, believe it's going to go skyrocketing in any way unless this thing surprises itself and gets its way going. If this thing gets its way going, I'll be more than happy to say I think Bitcoin will go to moon. But this, of course, is just the thing that has me epically concerned. Maybe the magical unicorn dust will show itself. So otherwise, the altcoin market has held up fine. Our big movement now is just whether or not we're going to be having a big range. And I know it. We all want to post it and say, hey, we only put up arrows. But we're in the context of a range at this point. Get back in here and then give us this bad boy to get moving. And then we will say, all right, forget a range. Let's just go. That's where we're at. Again, we went through XRP at one point in this. For the people who want to hear about XRP, there's literally nothing changed on this thing. Look and just find that, again, the big problems where you have like long-term devastating problems are if you just go take out those April lows, which you don't want to do, right? So don't go take out the April lows. Otherwise, it's still just a Wyckoff accumulation chilling in here, and it's actually held up quite well. A lot of stuff has taken quite a big beating ever in here since March, and XRP has actually held up quite well during all of that time. Not a whole lot to the upside during the wild move, but then not a whole lot of downside during the down move either. So it's just kind of been a stable coin. All right, here we go. David, this is for you. There we go, opening up a monster. All right, so there you go. Everything is just stabled. It's been a week since we've talked to each other, so it's hard to figure out what are the important things to actually talk about when we get together for a week here in Markets in the Morning. The obvious thing, of course, that we get to see in this moment is that DXY at that 106, and then the United States stock market to see what's going to end up happening in here right now. Otherwise, Bitcoin. And by the way, if you don't know why we have that on there, that is the 4.236 extension of the 2018 bear market. That was the full extension happening in there. No expansion and no expansion. People have asked me too, and like I agree, right? That looks like Wyckoff accumulation, right? I mean, it really does. And then what does this look like? This looks like your sign of strength, right? The problem here is getting back to that 618 retracement. And, I don't think this would be too much of an issue if it was doing it at the exact same time as the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You can go read articles. You can go look it up and see what does it mean when the Russell is not following along with the stock market or with the Dow Jones. What does it mean when there's extreme consolidation into big, large caps? And what it means is there's extreme economic uncertainty and worry and concern, and people are all shifting into big names right now. So rather than branching out and expecting economic growth and expecting everybody to perform well and things are great, everybody's kind of like playing safe. And that's not what you want, right? If you want things to get wild, what do you want? Extreme risk-taking, irrational exuberance, the polar opposite of people trying to play extremely safe and consolidate into very specific names. So if this was happening with the Dow Jones right in here, okay. But it's very bizarre behavior for the Dow to be way up in here and for the Russell to not be. So, okay. There you go. Our big thing we're watching for the coming weeks in the videos is when we'll have a couple of videos there talking about Bitcoin, talking about the dominance, talking about the structures in previous bull runs. Everybody has been using 2016 and 2013 models for the bull runs and 2020 models for the bull runs. None of those are matching what is happening with Bitcoin right now. So we'll talk about those, and then we'll talk a lot about the dominances as well. And then, of course, other ideas will pop up to talk about that. Otherwise, just kind of know in the settling phase, if we just settle out in here, you'd be looking at least a couple of days of a little bit of boredom happening in here. And personally, I'll take it. I feel like I haven't had a day off in 2 weeks. I think I even mentioned it a while ago. I was like, I'm watching the charts like an absolute hawk, and I've been watching the charts like an absolute hawk throughout the weekend. And this range was brutal to happen all day Saturday and all day Sunday. I actually thought we'd get down there a lot faster, but when I was going through here, I started noticing something that might give a little bit of relaxation to you if you find yourself staring at the charts a lot throughout the weekend. I was sitting there saying, man, we're just stalled here. Is that, I expected us to have already gone and done it, but then it waits until late Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening to go forward and do it. And I started kind of going through these charts and looking at Saturdays and Sundays to see what ends up happening on Saturdays and Sundays. And it's actually incredibly normal now, ever since the ETFs came out, that Saturday in particular is usually just absolute nothing. That this is Saturday for Bitcoin. So on Saturdays, it does seem you could actually give yourself a day off from crypto. If you take anything away from this live stream, it does seem that you can give yourself a day off on Saturday. And that's pretty consistent going through past Saturdays of what ends up happening in here. Let's see if we can go find more of them. Right, here's Saturday. This is 2 weeks ago, right? So here's this Saturday. Here's 2 weeks ago Saturday. There's 3 weeks ago Saturday. So if you want a day off, enjoy Saturday, everybody. Okay. There you have it. Market holding up. Oh, others starting to take a little bit of a pop. Market holding up okay. DXY back below 106. Hopefully that's our extreme, man. All right, there you go. That's what's up in news. There's literally nothing going on in the news, not in crypto. Everybody just sitting there saying, what do we do? Do we go to 50K? Do we go 72K? What do we do? We'll find out. Otherwise, Bitcoin now at 61.8 as others continues to hold, which is where my primary focus is on this market. I've had a couple of entries get put in here. Still, the vast majority of the cash still sits waiting to force me to get stopped in at the highs. My ideal play on how I'd like to play this is to be able to get in actually down in here and just set stop losses down in here. We'll see if the market forces my hand or not. But that's just kind of what I'm waiting on here in the coming days. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump on into the chat. Trying to think if there's anything else we need to cover. We're still just going to be working on bottoming. So when we check in next week, this is what things we'll be watching for. Either we've gotten our escape or this has already gotten itself to play itself out in here. Till then, chill out, DXY, and we'll see how things go from there. All right, Andy Philpott, 5 memberships. Brother, thank you very much. You did that before the stream even started. Gator had gifted 10 as well, you guys. Thank you, man. 702 crew, guys. I appreciate it. Gator. Sir Lurker, the Prophet. Hey, BSB, I love your content, but XRP's PA since 2022 lows corrective rather than impulsive. Overlapping waves. Is this dev data very bearish? We just kind of went through this in the XRP discussion in there. If you take out those lows, yeah, I mean you could see big fall happen in XRP if you take out those lows. But from an Elliott wave count, no, it's actually still exactly on track. It just hasn't shifted. Jaxer, why do bees have sticky hair? They use a honeycomb. Oh boy. Jaxer, thank you, brother. Joseph Black, BCB, is there magic fairy dust? Do you think that the H-bar pump to 18 cents on the BlackRock news had to happen just so that H-bar would later have cushion to be able to hold itself above the April 14th lows? I don't know. Not necessarily. Because, I mean, not everything has held those April 14th lows, you know? Sometimes what I see, though, is like a lot of time with XRP, it will do those little moves before things get kind of rough throughout the market. Like if you remember with what was fascinating about this, Total 3 is a rough example because it's included in Total 3. Let's do, it makes up such a large portion of Total 3. Let's do, oh, it's on a percentage. Anyway, this is the liquidation. So if you guys remember back on August 17th, Bitcoin had a massive liquidation. We actually had a 5-minute liquidation that took place in the crypto market that was bigger than the FTX collapse. That was Bitcoin. Right here. This only lasted for 5 minutes and was bigger than the FTX collapse when it came to actual liquidations in the market. And like right before this happens, XRP goes firing off to the upside, so that when that ended up happening and all that leverage got wiped out of the system, we just came right back to where we started. And it's still just held there. But I don't know, you know, and I've had a lot of discussions on that HBAR stuff, and it's a touchy topic because a lot of people own HBAR. I don't mind talking about assets in critical ways. Like I don't mind talking about XRP in critical ways when it comes to development activity or stories or narratives or fantasies and all that stuff. And, you know, if I think stuff is nonsense or if I say, hey, some data is not looking good here. But I'd also like, I don't come on here intentionally trying to anger people and be like, you're funding my bags. And so the HBAR thing was something I kind of had to like not touch with a 10-foot pole, kind of maybe poke at it from like a 30-foot pole, you know, but, you know, I definitely felt that whole thing that happened there was blown out of proportion. It did not seem, you know, it was very intentionally, it seemed to me to be very intentionally vague about BlackRock's participation, and then there kept being all these defending of it, being like BlackRock had to know about it. We told them what we were doing, but it was some other company who tokenized some BlackRock shares using Hedera, and BlackRock was not involved in it. And what likely happened is this company told some, you know, 23-year-old intern on the phone, and the intern was like, okay, whatever. You know, and I think, you know, and it was good marketing to use BlackRock because what was going on a couple of months ago, anything discussing BlackRock, right, was mooning, right? Ondo, you know, you got Bitcoin ETFs, BlackRock, right? And so, of course, hey, let's tokenize some BlackRock shares, and it'll like make people think BlackRock wanted these shares tokenized on Hedera. And that's kind of how it got marketed and how it got presented and was like defended. And that just didn't seem entirely accurate at the time. And so that was a weird thing. And, you know, I didn't, you know, it was a weird one. But thank you, Joseph. Shiva Blaster. Why didn't the NBA use the basketball sponsored by XRP? Because it never bounced. That's a good one, dude. XP Market. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Member for 15 months. BSB, just a quick thank you for your killer crypto insights and epic market breakdowns. Your analysis is top notch. You keep us all in the game. Keep rocking, and happy birthday. Love 702 win 12K. XP Market, my man. Thank you, brother. Captain Turk says, I think HBAR got too much hate for that. Yeah, well, and so here's the problem too. Was it necessarily Hedera's fault? No, right? It was a third-party company who did it. But of course, you know how crypto works, right? You know exactly how it works, right? Any sniff of anything bullish, there'll be 1,000 YouTube videos on it, 1,000 tweets on it, and it gets blown up, right? And that's kind of what happened to something that was more of like, here's this third party who bought some BlackRock shares, and that third party tokenized them, and it got like spun into being like BlackRock tokenized their fund, and it wasn't BlackRock. It was this third party who bought some shares and then like tokenized. They created a token for the shares on Hedera, and you could buy those shares. You could buy those tokens on. And you get what I'm saying. Alex Smith, hey BCB, you always present great data and facts or what could happen, but how do you see the crypto market playing out? I'm very, I think I pretty much present, the concerns that I have, right? Like where we are at is that we hit a retracement and smashed it, right? That's not good. So after you smash into a retracement, then you have to say, is this gloom and doom time? Is a gig up for everything? Or do you kind of enter into a little bit of a ranging action that's going to take time to work up and try to get a breakout? It's hard for me to have strong conviction that it gets absolutely nuts unless if something surprises right in here. And we've just been stuck here. If this thing breaks out, my bias immediately becomes crypto is going to fly. That's my immediate bias. Right, with Dow in this range right in here, right, from February, March, April, May, and June, right in the dead middle of it. If this thing breaks out and goes to the upside, my immediate bias becomes we go crazy. But right now, we're just stuck in this period of how are we going to do now? We haven't expanded. We hit a retracement. We rejected from the retracement. Is it going to be ranging? Is it going to be long run? Is it going to take forever? I don't think we have all those answers right now. It's hard for me to have a strong bias. And I think that's why I just kind of present all the data to say, these are the things that are good. These are the things that are bad. You don't have everything lined up positively. You don't have everything lined up negatively either. And what could happen in the event of there being a mix? What if half the stuff is good, half the stuff is bad? Then what happens? We all just trade against each other, right? It becomes range bound, right? And that I could see that happening right now. But if this thing broke up, my bias immediately changes, right? Immediately. And I think that's where it is. I don't think I have a super strong bias. And a challenge with that too is this, right? XRP. This is where one of those things of being like, there's positive things and then there's not positive things. Like you look at all these things and you say, yeah, yuck. And then you look at Bitcoin and you say, yuck. But this range is fully developed. This thing is fully developed. And so you say to yourself, man, how does this thing go? Right? When everything else is, when you have other things that are kind of sloppy, or like, how do all these things line up when everything else is sloppy? And then you look over at the dominances like we showed earlier, and those dominances seem to have reached extremes. And will it be something different than what people are expecting? Bitcoin has played different than every all-time high in the past. What you have seen Bitcoin's price action do up here at the all-time high does not resemble 2020, 2016, or 2012. It is different from all three. And could we see something very different play out? Because this is an exact Elliott wave count. That is correct. As long as that low holds, which so far it's been fine. So I have confliction on that. I see things playing out different, but like the way it would change immediately to say it's all the same is if that goes. If the Russell breaks up, it's all the same all over again. But it's not right now. And that's the hard part, right? I've tried to express that in tweets to say, hey, look, like using the models of 2016 and 2020, it's not going to work this time. And you can clearly see in this data, even in my adult life, right, being an adult in these markets, this is the first time this has happened, where the Russell 2000 is not breaking out with the Dow Jones. It's breaking out with the Dow Jones above the Great Financial Crisis highs here. It's breaking out with the Dow Jones above the Great Financial Crisis highs here. And it's breaking out with not the Great Financial Crisis highs. This is just the range highs. And then it's breaking out of the pre-C19 highs here together. It has done that in all of these scenarios and all of Bitcoin's bull runs, right? This is the first time it's not. This is the first time retirement accounts are not following the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and they look like the Russell, where all retirement accounts have broken out with all of these together. So we're navigating into uncharted waters that Bitcoin and crypto has never been in before. And that's what I try to keep expressing and saying, this has never happened in Bitcoin's entire life cycle, where there's this dynamic occurring in the markets. And we're having to navigate it in a different way when everybody is using these same models. And the market's not the same. And so, we're having to go through that, right? Jacob Malik, it's been a long time since you looked at Dash. They've got a huge upcoming release next month. Is it possibly about to explode? If the whole market goes, it goes too. Good for them, though. Thank you, brother. Kevin, member for 12 months. Do you think Sleepy Joe giving pro-crypto sentiment in tomorrow's debate could be a catalyst for Showtime? Yay, 1 year membership anniversary. Kevin, thank you very much for 1 year. First of all, I'm so out of the loop. There's a presidential debate tomorrow? Hold on. There's not a debate tomorrow, is there? Oh my gosh, there is. Oh wow. Yeah, politics, man, they're just not my jam to focus on it all the time. I also am not here to persuade you one way or another. But that's interesting. That's interesting. I typically never watch that stuff. I think, you know what? It's because it's like I think this one just might be entertaining. I might watch it. So I think I'll watch it. It's at 9 p.m. Okay. All right. We'll do it. We'll stay up. Michka says, let's live it here. Oh, jeez. All right, we'll move on. I don't know. That's interesting. I just didn't even realize it was tomorrow. For some reason, I thought it was like July 11th or something like that. I don't know why that date. Okay, Leonardo. Para, thank you very much, man. You got super chat, no message, but thank you very much. Gene Carl, thank you very much. I've just watched a video from Al-Rassani, and he's suggesting that XRP is doing a corrective wave and could go down to 20 cents or less. He's basically saying XRP is doing an ABC corrective from 2021 high. What are your thoughts, fan from 2021? Right, so if XRP did that, we ain't going to see any action on this thing for a long time. I would sure hope not. If you took out those lows, I could definitely see us taking out all the lows way down in here if we start taking those out, because then you just don't have any type of contraction happening in here at that point. And if XRP is going to 20 cents, I'm telling you right now, everything's crashing. Bitcoin's crashing, stock market's crashing, everything is collapsing on itself if that ends up occurring. Courtney Smith Endurance Sports gifted a BCB membership. Courtney, thank you very much. Alaric Goodall, Gold Cool. Alaric Gold Cool. Welcome as a backer. Thank you. Gibbs, member for 4 months. I hope everyone has a good weekend celebrating the best federal holiday on earth. My birthday. Happy birthday, Gibbs. 42. Let's go. Corey, is this general altcoin weakness specifically compared to Bitcoin surprise you? Not really. Just this has been a rejection, right? I actually think it's held up fine in all this stuff because we've talked about all this. But yeah, no, not when you we haven't expanded in the market. It's pretty simple as that. XP Market gifted 5 BCB memberships. Brother, thank you. Arm Day. Hey, BCB, I know you're not a Bitcoin Cash camper, but for all of us that do want insight Bitcoin Cash, do you believe it is bottomed in finance? We really still do Bitcoin Cash. What did you get to? 800? You got all the way to 800, man. You're getting down to support level on a back test. It doesn't look any real different than the rest of the market. I don't know what Bitcoin Cash is being used for. I don't see development activity on it. I don't see anything, but it's just fine. If the market finds support, Bitcoin Cash will probably find support too. I'm just not sure of the development that's really going on there or the users. Arm Day, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Larry, good morning. BCB, some of my alts came down 65% or even more from the March high. Is it safe to say those are toast? And to just stick with the Substack list? Or I hope you're enjoying your summer with the fam. No, I think everything, lots of stuff does in these moments. What are examples of that? You guys were all like, some of you guys were losing your mind that Algorand made it into a video the other day. For the record, I do not own any Algorand. But no, like even in this type of stuff in here, right? This is the kind of deep stuff you get in here. How big is that? That's 71, right? People forget, hey, it's totally fine that stuff went up 1,000%, but it's totally unacceptable for it to fall 80. And that's how this market does work. But no, I don't think the percentage necessarily reflects, what the next stuff that happens in there is. Right? I think we've gone through, and I think we looked at like, what did we look at? Get them off these log scales, and suddenly things look a little different, right? %49.52%. Right. Again, that requires expansion to happen in markets, but it's definitely not unusual to have bigger moves happening like that in these environments. I remember SupercraSY. Oh, we don't get to see the first one, but you can even. For example, being in bull trends. $84. This one definitely is not that aggressive. This one's maybe 40. $54. Right. So I don't think the percentage truly matters. Unless if it's 99. Then yeah. Come and see Jesus. If aliens buy crypto, where do they go? To the moon. Thank you, man. Carl, good morning, BCB. Knowing what you know about developer data, would you have accumulated a large bag of XRP over the years? Are you still holding because it didn't make a new high in 2020? Well, it's a good question. It's a good question. The problem is that you're also given hindsight. Anybody can use hindsight, right? We can all look back on it and we could say, I wish I would have bought Bitcoin when that idiot in my office was telling me about it back in 2013, but he was a dummy, right? When we weren't able to really, we analyzed the market back in 2023 last year, right? That's when all the developer stuff started to get written about. And back in there, it would not have matched all the criteria, right? So if you were just focusing on developer activity alone, no, it doesn't match it, right? We've actually done big reports on it for what happens when things are getting bought up and they actually don't have that deep of bear markets. And that's what people don't realize as well. Out of the top 100 assets in the cryptocurrency market, did you know that XRP was in the top 10 for the shallowest bear? It was one of the top 10 strongest in 2022. Do you guys know that? When that group, when you look back on it in 2021, that group of like the top 10 shallowest bears outperformed even all high dev activity in 2021. That little subset of the top 10 with the shallowest bears outperformed highest dev activity. So we look back on it and you say, with dev activity alone, would you have not bought it if you go specifically on it? The data says you shouldn't. If you only go on developer activity because it's not there, right? If you only go on total value locked, is it there? No, right? So I've thrown this massive fit over the last year about development activity, and fortunately, it's come to the front, right? And that is a good thing. We have spent far too long with these narratives of Ripple's going to pump our bags, right? And I personally have not been like that. I have no problem being critical of Ripple, but that's the narrative out there. And we've done a good job bringing awareness to it. That has to be resolved. And I'm sure you have probably noticed over the last 6 months the massively higher focus on development and users and building on the XRP ledger. Whether it's being effectively done or not, that's a whole different story. But as the focus on it increased a lot in the last 6 months, yes. Has the total value locked increased? I've been looking at those numbers. Fortunately, it has. Is it anywhere competitive? Not even close. Not even close. Is it going in the right direction? Yeah. What is that, like $10 million right now? Is it going in the right direction? Yeah. Is it anywhere close? No. You have a massive community, so you have a massive marketing arm for XRP, which you don't have on other stuff, right? You just don't have that. So that's the advantage you have. And so you have to weigh all of those things and say, well, we have the marketing arm, the shallowest drawdowns. But if you go on one data point alone, and if that's developer activity, and you said, this is the only data point I'm going to use, no, you wouldn't buy XRP. Right? Because we could pull it up here. Geez, do I really want to go through all of it? We'll do it. I'm just going to do it like this. Market cap. Boy, I'd have to go really far. For you guys, I will do it. Take me a few minutes. Do I really want to do this? Anyway, it's going to be ranked over 200 for developer activity. It's ranked in the top 10 for market cap, but ranked 200 for developer activity. It's not good. But that's always a rough question when you say, looking back on it, would you have done things differently? We would all do things differently if we looked back in time, right? The only thing we can do with data from the past is say, well, what can we do about the future? When you look in the past, you're always going to say, I should have done different things differently, right? Should I have gone 100% all in on Ethereum Classic, right? Yeah, I should have. That should have been my bet. All in Ethereum Classic, right? That's what my bet should have been in 2021, rather than it just being a part of the bag. Should I have been all in Cardano? Yeah, I should have been all in Cardano rather than it being my second biggest bag. But even your second biggest bag doesn't make it like 50% of your crypto portfolio. It doesn't make it 40% of your cryptocurrency portfolio, right? It still only ends up being your second biggest bag. It's still only like 15, 20%, right? But should I have gone all in? Of course. But so that's why, the only thing I can do is look forward. And the thing is I can look forward and say, well, what things mattered? And the things that matter were development activity, total value locked, percentage drawdown, circulating supply, all that different stuff. And if this market's going to expand, that stuff has mattered before. Then we go through, we run the data, we look at it right now. We say, has that stuff still continued to matter right now? Yes, it has. Those sectors have really outperformed, especially total value locked has done very well. And make the decisions moving forward. So, but yeah, I mean, who wouldn't go back in the past and say, I wish I would have put it all into Cardano rather than XRP, and just say, I wish it would have been 100% conviction on developer data. The difference is you didn't have that data last time, right? Like you didn't have that in 2021 to look back on and say, well, what happened in 2017 and did that developer data matter? Because it didn't matter in 2017. In 2017, everything ran. In 2017, if you only bought the top 10 crypto assets by market cap, you 7DX'd with all of them. 9 out of 10 of them went on massive mega runs. Like the worst performer only did like a 20X, right? And you averaged over 70X on alt season 1 by just buying the top 10 by market cap in 2016 into 2017. In 2021, that didn't work. In 2021, we have one run, and the average for the top 10 is 12X from December 12th or whatever, December 10th, whatever the date is. And in that market, it's only 2 out of 10 that go into all-time highs. So the market changed, right? And so you can't look at it and say, oh, we should have done this data analysis and compared it to 2017 when we've already done that data analysis to know the top 10 crushed it. It didn't matter what you bought in the top 10 in 2017, everything ran. But in 2021, the market dynamic changed, and it changed to only selective things ran. And so then it's trying to figure out, well, what are those selective data points that mattered, right? The sectors that had the absolute biggest performance were, one, the coins in the top 100 that had the shallowest bear. The top 10 of that subgroup was your number 1 performer. Number 2 and number 3 top performer subsets were the top 10 by developer activity and then the next 10 by developer activity. Those were your top subsets. The ones in the top market caps, right? Stuff that you go to coinmarketcap.com and you look at the top 20, that subset, absolute worst, lost to every group. It lost to every group. The groups that were the best were the top 10 shallowest bears, and then top 10 by developer activity, and then the next 10 by developer activity. So That's the data you have to go forward with. Larry, why are a lot of XRP influencers attacking Tether so hard? Is it because they're trying to push the XRP ledger, but wouldn't Tether go down because the market to tank, including XRP? Yeah, if Tether collapsed, XRP would collapse too. I don't know why they do that. I don't know what they do that occasionally though. They kind of be quiet about it for a little while, then they start ramping it up again. I told you I've been here. I've been in the market for over 7 years. I've seen Tether FUD happen multiple times, but what's been real fascinating lately is it's not even like Tether FUD that is hitting the airwaves on like actual crypto. It's just like isolated within the XRP community of Tether FUDding. It's very bizarre. I don't know why they do it, man. I just kind of stay out of it. Pat, thank you for gifting 10 memberships, brother. You said you were going to stay up for it, and you did, dude. Thank you, man. Went to bed early. Gary Guan, can you look at the coin chart? Is there one more wave down? Yeah, so there's another example of not having expansion. And that's one of the things we've talked about too, as evidence of it too, that you don't have it here, right? If you were to reject in here, what that would look like, but you don't have expansion in Coinbase. So this would be one of those things we look for too, right? So where does Coinbase get back to from the November 10th peak? 702 Fibonacci retracement, and it also rejects. And that's where we're at in the market, you guys, right? And that's the thing. Like, is the market going to expand or not? Right? Wyckoff accumulation, look at that, clear as day. Wyckoff, sign of strength, retracement, and then not able to get through the retracement, right? And that's just where we're at. Now it's so much more difficult after a retracement hit. The level of it is so difficult. And that's, we just need to see some evidence. If you see Coinbase get through, if you see Russell get through and crypto's lagging behind for some reason, we know crypto's fine. Crypto's going to be just fine. But as of right now, there you go. You have it on Coinbase too. It could not expand. It got back to retracement levels. Joseph Morgan, BCB, is there any idea what the MiCA regulations for Europe means for the market, USDT ban or limitations? I don't know if it means anything for the market. Let's go look it up. MiCA ban, USDT. Can't use USDC either. Uploaded to the list USDT. I'm only seeing this stuff for USDT. Maybe this is the opportunity for Ripple to slip in. We'll see. I don't know, man. I was all in. Jules Crypto says, I was all in crypto, but I didn't sell. Fibs matter. Yeah, Cardano was the best run that I had in 2021. That's the one I look back on, and even though it was number 2, I look back on it and just think, you just don't really think it's going to happen. You don't really think you're going to be in it for the 10,000% run. That was the banger of 2021 for me, was Cardano. I rode Bitcoin all the way from the bottom to 58K in Ethereum, all the way up to 3K and 5K. And even those were great, but nothing compared to Cardano. Dang, we're at 1 hour and 15 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Shifting along in here, guys. This is going to kind of be the story for the next few days. I will try to be more creative with videos than to just say, okay, we're squiggling, settle. It'll probably be like, all right, look, everything is good in here. Now let's go talk about this other topic and stuff like that. So that's what we got going on in the market today. The United States stock market, 38,978. We're all on caution and on edge on that. Fortunately, DXY back below 106. Okay, so hopefully that was the extreme, like we talked about at the beginning of the live stream today. So we'll watch that, and I'll probably keep you guys updated on that in each video throughout the week on that one. If you haven't liked the live stream yet, please hit the like button. We're only at 787 here in an hour and 15 minutes. What are we doing, guys? I only survive on likes. Okay. So there you go. That's what we got going on. Things are good. Market sentiment has reached fear, finally. I really doubt that. I think it's probably been in fear for a very long time. But either way, the fear and greed index has finally hit fear. I cannot believe it. PTW just saved the day. At the very beginning of the stream, we played the frog, and then I go a whole hour and 15 minutes and never play the frog again. So if you are just hanging out here, if you came here for content, that will be the conclusion of it. It is now going to be frogs in all different types of manners.
It is Wednesday, my
And then, for anybody who is here just to totally chill out, bro, I'm just here to hang out. Which, by the way, the first 2 years I was making YouTube videos, people thought I was a long-haired hippie. I don't know. I don't know how I talk that makes people think that, but either way.
It is Wednesday, my
Okay. And now here we go. Like I said, I'm going to annoy you with frogs now. Here we go.
It is Wednesday, my
We did it. Okay, how many viewers do we still have? 1691. Yeah, we lost 200 people with that. Gator, thank you very much, man. 5 memberships, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, guys, that's what we're working on now. Things are looking just fine out here in the crypto market, at least for now. DXY now back to 105.93. A little bit of a scare there to start the day off. And then now the Dow is trying to get back down to back to 39,000, sitting at 38,989. And we'll check in, guys. Right, big story of moving back up. Of course, is going to need to see something like this happen in here, and that's just the story of the reality of it. And for those who have sat there for the last 3 months, all of March, all of April, all of May, all of June, we're almost into July. We're only 4 or 5 days away from July, thinking Bitcoin's going to break up any moment. People on Twitter posting, Bitcoin's going to break up any moment. It's going to go soaring off. It's going to skyrocket and go. And it hasn't gone. We need expansion. And, that's the big thing. And this market is super different from every past market, right? And that's just what we need, right? So we shall see. We shall see. Otherwise, we keep going with this thing. The big move up to the top, that's where we're going to find out whether or not we can see that happen. So, okay, that is it. 1 hour and 18 minutes. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Gator gifted 5 again, man. Thank you very, very much. And 5 again. Gator, geez, man. Thank you, brother. I'm going to wrap it up, you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here through this wild time. I guess I haven't checked. When was the last time we talked to each other? I guess in here. Okay, the last time we talked to each other, I keep referencing back to the last time we talked to each other in those videos. We were right in here, and the idea was that we would shift up here and then have a sweep of the low, and then look for the bounce, and then get back in here. So that's where we were in the live stream. These were our squigglies. This is where we're at. So hopefully, we'll see what happens. What I'm looking for by the next time we get together is that we've done something like that, and then we might still be here the next time we talk to each other. But either at the next time we talk to each other or the time after that, we've done that. Okay? That's what we're looking for. All right. Gator, again, Gator, thank you very much, man. He had done it 3 times with 5. He gave out 15, brother. And Pat just gave out 5 as well, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to all of my Australians, too. Of course, you guys are up super late, which Pat is. I've had a pleasure meeting you guys. You guys are all very kind. And everybody else throughout the world. Of course, America is my biggest audience, but Australia is my second biggest one. So thank you guys very much for watching. We'll check in with this soon, and I'll check in with you guys tomorrow. But that's going to be it for this one. If you're looking for something to do, check out the newsletter over here, blockchainbacker.substack.com. Check out the course over there on bcbacker.com with over 40 videos and 11 hours of content. There's links in the description of this live stream. Otherwise, guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please like the live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.